So we haven't seen a round of playoff football this exciting since the 03-04 season. And honestly, the only way to do these games justice would be to make a 45-minute episode, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to tell you what just happened. So starting with the AFC, first game of the weekend, Bengals at Titans. This game was pretty wild, and I do not know how Cincinnati ended up winning because Joe Burrow was knocked on his ass a lot. Like, a lot. Like, a lot. My man was sacked 9 times on the road in a playoff game. And yet Cincinnati still found a way to win. Here we have every game in NFL history to feature a quarterback getting sacked 9+ times. Each dot represents a quarterback, and he's listed by his completion percentage in that game. So what happens when I turn the wins green and the ties yellow? 7, 76, and 2. That is all sorts of terrible, needless to say. Also, I want to note Randall Cunningham, because he is 2, 4, and 1 in those games, and he accounts for most of the spots on this 1986 cluster. And SB Nation has a great piece on that I recommend reading. But this is about the Bengals. Joe Burrow became the 7th quarterback in NFL history to win a game despite getting sacked 9+ times, and the first one to do it in the playoffs. In one way or another, he still completed over 75% of his passes. So how'd he do it? A couple of ways. Firstly, he always took advantage of his clean pockets when he'd get them, and he took a lot of checkdowns and let his guys get yards after the catch. When running back Joe Mixon has the ball in his hands, good things happen. So getting him the ball was one of Cincinnati's top priorities. Then Burrow put a lot on the line with this 3rd and 5 scramble, which was one of the biggest plays in the game because it set up this touchdown run by Mixon. Now, Joe Mixon is a fantasy football hero, so watching him score such a crucial touchdown in the playoffs was so cool. Since he also won because their defense stepped up, Mike Hilton makes an incredible interception off Ryan Tannehill right here. Now, Tannehill responded with this gorgeous touchdown connection with A.J. Brown, but overall, Tannehill played a bad game. The Bengals defense deserves a lot of credit, don't get me wrong, and props to them for being able to contain Derrick Henry, but Tannehill made a lot of throws that he definitely should not have made. And I don't usually blame quarterbacks when teams lose, but the context of Tannehill's mistakes really hindered the Titans' chances of winning. Burrow made a big-time throw to set up Evan Kick-Fearson for the game-winning field goal, and the rest is history. Cincinnati moves on. And boy, do they have their work cut out for them. Some people are saying the Bills-Chiefs game was the greatest game they've ever seen. Now, I wouldn't go that far. I don't even think it was the greatest game of the weekend, but it was awesome. It lived up to the hype, and then it got even crazier. But I'm not going to show the highlights here because I can't do them justice, but everyone should go watch them after this video if you haven't seen them yet because they are insane. I will show one thing from the game that really did stand out to me. This was right when the game ended. Chiefs are celebrating, and Patrick Mahomes runs through all the people, finds Josh Allen, and just embraces him. This is the ultimate bro moment between two fierce competitors, the two young faces of the NFL role modeling sportsmanship beautifully. Mahomes is showing a lot of empathy here. He knows what it's like to lose a playoff game by virtue of never getting a shot with the ball in overtime. Now, I don't hate the current NFL overtime rules, but they could be amended. I'd love to see them do Superstar KO from Madden. I won't dive into detail about what that looks like, but the idea is that each team gets a chance with the ball no matter what. I'll discuss that in greater detail in a different show, but for now, we got a couple NFC games to talk about that were insane. Aaron Rodgers was very much the Joker that I made him out to be last weekend, but I can't entirely blame him for one of the weirdest games I've ever seen. The weirdness started right after Trent Williams, an all-pro left tackle who had a great game, made a holding penalty, which led to someone very handsome doing something very dumb yet again. Jimmy Garoppolo makes a really good play to escape the rush, but he just can't get this throw to George Kittle in time, and Packers safety Adrian Amos is there to make the interception. This led to Aaron Rodgers doing something that was very Aaron Rodgers. He finds Aaron Jones wide open along the sideline, and Aaron Jones, I think he could have scored here, but he cuts inside for some reason. Anyway, leads to a sack fumble from Nick Bosa, and the Packers manage to recover, but when they try to kick a field goal to go into halftime, they decide that protecting against blocked field goals is for losers. But at least the Packers got their special teams error out of the way early, right? And Elijah Mitchell's stiff arm got called a face mask, which stalled the Niners' drive, but they still kicked a field goal, and their defense continued to keep the pressure on the reigning MVP. The game turned into something that was perfect for the Niners, but terrible for the Packers. A field position battle. Now, the Niners didn't always get the results they wanted on offense, but they still managed to move the ball, keep the pressure on Green Bay. Now, the Packers defense managed to step up in some key moments, but the offense just couldn't find their rhythm after the first drive. The only way to beat Aaron Rodgers is by consistently knocking his ass on the ground, and that's what the Niners did. And then this happened. Can we just appreciate this moment where everyone on the field is just kind of looking around? They are all so confused. I mean, eventually the ball does fall down, but that must have felt like an eternity for these guys. But hey, Packers get the ball right back, but for some reason, Aaron Rodgers chooses to throw deep to Davante Adams, who is double covered, instead of hitting Allen Lazard, who is wide open over the middle. But when Jimmy Garoppolo got the ball, he didn't try to be the hero, he just took what the defense gave him. He didn't make amazing throws, he made the right throws. And a 3rd and 7 run by the great Deebo Samuel set up Robbie Gould for a potential game-winning field goal. And my man delivered. It's fitting that the Packers began to melt down just as the snow began to fall. It's like they were canceled by a bunch of snowflakes. Discount double choke on that, bitch. Anyway, Rams and Bucks. This game was amazing, mainly because of all the greatness taking the field at the exact same time. It's a battle of a bunch of great players who have moved on from their more inferior teams. And then you add in some formerly retired All-Pros, and you got an all-time classic. Now, this game was billed as about... Antonio, what are you doing here? No, leave, you're not here. This game was billed as a battle between Aaron Donald and Tom Brady. And I love that, because while quarterback matchups are fun, they're not on the field at the same time. So from the beginning, this game felt like the Nostalgia Bowl. Matt gets his team going early, hitting a tight end for a touchdown pass to put him up by 2 scores. It reminded me of that time when Matt got his team going early by hitting his tight end for a touchdown to go up 2 scores. Then the non-Brady team got some pressure on Brady, and before the end of the half, they forced him into throwing a boneheaded interception. So down by 3 scores going into the half, Brady had him right where he wanted him. Then late in the 3rd quarter, the Rams fumbled, setting up the Patriots in good position, setting up the Bucks in good position. And that was the moment when you really felt the momentum change. Except this time, Brady's adversary had a much more formidable pass rush. The great Von Miller took it upon himself to take the ball away. But then that didn't matter because this crazy shit happened, which I don't get. I don't get this at all. And then late in the game, Mike Evans beat Jalen Ramsey on a go route, and Tom Brady finds him to cut the lead in half. Now, Jalen Ramsey has played against Brady in a big game before. The 2018 AFC Championship as a member of the Jags, they held the lead in the 4th quarter, only for Tom Brady to go full Tom Brady and eventually win the game. This had to feel like deja vu for Ramsey. He probably felt like a side character in the story of Brady's triumph once again. But this wasn't Brady's story. This was a story of a pair of lions, a couple of former teammates with no love lost between the two of them. And late in the 4th, they each made game-changing plays. This strip of Rams running back Cam Akers put the Bucks in perfect position to tie the game. Leonard Fournette had the easiest touchdown run of his life, and the Rams' lead was gone. Once again, Brady had made an improbable comeback, but this time, Brady made a mistake that so many others have made against him. He left a great quarterback with too much time. Yes, Matt Stafford is a great quarterback and he always has been. He's just been with a dysfunctional franchise. If you want to blame him for the Lions' 21st century misfortune, I guarantee you have the wrong guy. Now, as a long-time Detroit Lion, he never got used to the playoffs, but he did get used to adversity. And if he has the ball late in the game with the chance to get the win, he's going to come through and he's going to love it. His passion for football has always been so demonstrative in the most endearing way. Even when he played for a bad team, you could always tell just how much the game meant to him. For those of you who don't know, here's what happened at the end of that Dallas game. Now keep in mind, this is not a playoff game, this is Week 8. I mean, just look how happy he is. My God, I can't help but root for this guy. If this was Tom Brady's last game, I think it's a very fitting way for his career to end. I mean, Lord knows he's been on the other end of this kind of finish so many times. But that's enough about him. We have 4 very compelling teams in the conference championships, and things are about to get even more intense. Now, I don't know if the remaining 3 games are going to be anywhere near as epic as the previous 4, but for these teams and all their fans, everything is on the line.